This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, two brand new guitars straight out of the box. I haven't done anything with these, but these are two guitars that are called now the Standard and are both sort of cheaper versions of expensive things in a way, or like the Fender Standard, a more expensive version of a cheaper thing originally. But the Ibanez AZ versus the Fender Standard Strat. Hopefully this video will give you some idea about the differences in the guitars, how they sound, what they're like to play. This is, you know, I've got no affiliation with either Fender or Ibanez. I'm just going to give you my opinion on both guitars. In the UK, these are like direct competitors, just under £500, or, you know, around that point. So I think, first of all, let's talk about the obvious spec type stuff. So I think I would say the Ibanez AZ is spec'd way closer to like a pro level guitar. They've actually kept this very decent. So we got some proper Alnico pickups, we've got stainless steel frets, we've got locking tuners on here, you've got a roasted maple neck, and then the same body kind of contours as the full AZ. The trem, I would say, is non-Goto. and that's probably the weakest point of the guitar in my opinion. Now on the Fender, by contrast, we have ceramic pickups. Now I don't know if you're going to have heard in the intro there, but these have comparatively less sparkle, more bassy, higher output, and to me, although they don't sound bad, it's when I compare them to Alnico pickups, like they obviously don't really sound the same. 2-point trem, no locking tuners, they're like the sealed die-cast whatever thing, like a Beyond Burger nut, like it's fake bone. 9.5 inch radius, 21 frets. The body is poplar, got a maple neck, which actually is nicely finished, feels quite smooth, and Indian laurel fretboard. This has a Jatoba fretboard, which I would say the laurel looks closer to rosewood. This has like a little bit of a reddish tinge to it. Whether that matters or not, I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of what it is. Nice flame maple top on this, and of course a pearloid scratch plate. Again, I don't know who those are for. Now, so this should, on paper, be a much better guitar, I think. The neck shape is fantastic. It's really comfortable, whereas going between the two, this feels very skinny. And for me, in some ways, like that's what I'd associate with some Squier guitars and stuff like that, like a skinnier neck. Speaking of frets though, the fret job is much smoother on the Fender. So it's a bit of a weird one where I kind of think like this is could be a much better guitar, but the actual end execution of mostly just the fret job, I guess, has ended up letting it down a little bit in comparison to the Indonesian Strat, which is very smooth playing out of the box. But there are some feelings like this neck is too skinny for me to find comfortable. It might suit someone who's, you know, into a skinnier neck, or potentially beginners. Very much feels like that sort of Squier neck where it's like quite slim, quite comfortable, but you know, once you get used to playing slightly thicker necks, this is going to feel very skinny, I think, is my take on that. A good radius on it though, 9.5, and like I say, the frets are very well finished. If it came down to it, I think my choice between the two guitars, if there's any interest in that, this guitar is slightly heavier, this feels quite light. I would go with the Ibanez AZ. I think it's just a more pro level guitar, whereas this I think actually just ends up being kind of entry level. Not bad necessarily, but you know, for £500 I think you can get a better guitar. For example, the Ibanez AZ, because you've got the stainless steel frets on here. All it's going to take is, you know, the attention of someone to polish those frets, and you've suddenly then got a guitar which is actually very respectable in my opinion. In terms of tuning stability as well, the AZ I think wins. Like, it's staying in tune with the trem, whereas this is not necessarily keeping tune super well even without using a trem. So that's kind of my take on that. I'll do a bit of Yeah, the fret job on this in particular is very, very tidy, comfortable. Well, I say tidy, like there's a little bit of scrappiness around here, but it's like not problematic. It's just that the neck is skinny. You've also got this Mix 9 thing, which I've not found particularly inspiring tones there, but it is a bit more versatile in that regard. But locking tuners, stainless steel frets, slightly more vintage style pickups. I think for me, AZ would be the way to go, and because of that thicker neck, I think it's a bit more comfortable playing wise as well. I think that's kind of my take on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, both reasonable guitars for £500. I think you could probably get better from other manufacturers in general, like maybe a Jet, maybe a Sire, but of these two, or maybe a PRS CE24 Satin or something, but of these two I'd go with the Ibanez AZ. If you want my opinion, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you prefer the sound of either? Obviously looks wise, this has a really lovely headstock. Actually, they both look great, don't they? And then the Ibanez AZ headstock I really like as well. Cheers for stopping by.